What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your main man Silas here, the humble servant. Now, I call myself the servant not to say that I am less than, but to say that I am greater than all. And this is why I come as the servant. See, it is just like a parent and a baby. The parent is greater than the baby in knowledge and physical, and therefore the parent must serve the baby. See, we must begin to live by the examples that life provides. Live by the example life provides as law, as opposed to making up your own law. So it's a deep thing we have to grasp. We have to grasp the level of thought that I am on. Now, I want to do this video called What is Planet X? Planet X is basically, it has a lot of theories surrounding it and misperceptions, and it's just a whole bunch around it. And all of this stems from the Enuma Elish, but a lot of people don't even know about those texts. But this is where Planet X comes from. Now, I want to break down to y'all exactly what Planet X is, so y'all can grasp on a deeper level. Now, before I do that, because I know when I break this video down, a few people will say, man, you're contradicting yourself. And I want y'all to grasp. I am not contradicting myself. The problem is the level of thought that you have. See, you have to understand. Life is the duality. That is a contradiction in itself. Is night not a contradiction of day? And are they not both a part of the life in a whole? So you have to understand, I understand life in a whole. Life is the duality, which is contradicting of itself. So I'm explaining to you something that is naturally contradicting. So if it seems as if I'm contradicting myself, you must understand there is two sides to everything. And I am breaking down to y'all one thing of it at a time. But I am not contradicting myself, because I am only breaking down to you what you should already see around you. If I explain a man's mannerisms and the way he acts, if he is a contradicting man, then my explanation of him will be contradicting, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. So we have to grasp. Now, let me break down what is Planet X. The way for me to do that, I need you to understand what an atom is. Now, grasp this. I'm going to explain an atom. An atom is the micro. With an atom, you have the proton and neutron in the center of the atom because it is heavier. So it basically sits in the center of an atom and the electron circles it. So if you have two electrons and two proton neutrons, the proton neutrons will be in the center and the two electrons will circle that. So you have to grasp. Now that is the micro, and that is how an atom works. So you can just imagine an atom as a circle ball, and within that circle ball you have proton and neutron stationed in the middle, and you have the electrons, how many of them there may be, circling the proton neutron. And all of this is happening within the atom. Now, on the micro, I'm sorry, that is the micro. Now on the macro, you have the same thing. The sun is the electron. So you have to grasp, our sun is the electron. It is circling a proton neutron. So you have to grasp, our sun is within an atom on a macro level. And it is doing the same thing that atoms do on the micro. It is an electron circling a proton neutron. The thing is this. where is the proton neutron that our sun is circling? And we have to understand the level of micro macro. We can't see that. We can't even see the sun in its entirety. So how do you expect to see the proton neutron that it is circling if that is bigger than the electron? So you have to grasp. Now my point of breaking that down to you is so you can understand that an atom consists of more than one electron. And this is what planet X is. It is not a planet. It is a sun, just like our sun. And it is circling the same proton neutron that our sun is circling. So our sun and planet X, which is a sun, which is an electron also, they are both circling something, which would be the proton neutron. And this is what planet X truly is. See, y'all have to understand micro, macro. Things like the duality. We all say these words, but don't apply it to the teachings. So we see a sun, but we don't look for the duality of the sun. We know there's matter and antimatter, but we don't understand that. And therefore, we don't look for the antimatter of the sun. So you have to grasp. If you have a sun, you have to have another one. Not an invisible one, but an actual physical sun that just acts different. Meaning, a proton gives off, puts you like this, an electron gives off negative charge. An anti-electron, which is a positron, gives off a positive charge. So planet X, which is really a sun, would give off a different charge than our sun. So this is what would make them different even though they're the same. It's the duality. So now when planet X comes into contact with our sun, it is the same as when an anti-electron comes into contact with an electron. They explode and release energy. They cancel each other out. And this must have happened sometime in the past. It's a deep thing we have to grasp. But planet X is another sun, which is the electron, just like our sun is. And they are both circling something. Now the true question is, this atom that our sun is in, how many electrons is within it is the question. Because it may be our sun, planet X sun, and a bunch of other suns circling this thing, which would be the proton neutron on the macro. So it's a deep thing we have to grasp. Now I know some of y'all may have a question and say, well, our sun doesn't move. It stands still and the planets move around it. So wouldn't our sun be like the proton neutron? And wouldn't the planets be like the electrons? And this is what you must grasp. Our sun isn't still, it is moving. And the planets moving around it is the same as dust particles. So electrons attract dust particles. On the macro, those dust particles, we call them planets. But if you're looking at the sun, and you're larger than the sun, the planets will look like nothing more than dust around it. So you have to grasp micro, macro, in that you are the micro looking at and trying to understand the macro. So you're not ever getting a clear perspective because you are too minute in size. So it's a deep but simple thing we must grasp, man. I was looking into quantum physics and they were having a debate. What comes first? The thought or the actual physical matter? And it's a deep thing. Now, the way we have it today, the thought comes first, and then the action, which will lead basically to the physical matter. But here's the thing. A baby is born without any thought, yet it is physical matter. So you have to grasp what comes first, the thought or the thing. Because the baby is the thing, but the baby has no thoughts. But this is where it's deep, because the thought does come first. You have to grasp. The baby comes from a living being, which is the mother, and the mother has thoughts, and she thought of having a baby before she had one. So the thought comes before the physical thing. And this is a deep thing we must grasp. See, you have two up quarks and one down quark make a proton. The opposite makes a neutron. Now, all of this is still in the thought process. Until you get to an atom, which is the first piece of physical matter, everything before that would be considered the thought leading up to the thing. Now, grasp. Here's where the problem lies. Because a proton and a neutron are physical. Now, most people say no, protons and neutrons are not physical. When they interact with the electron, then they become atoms, which is the first piece of physical matter. But this is wrong. So you have to grasp. Thoughts are not physical. Physical things make whatever the thought is thinking. So my thoughts are my thoughts, and my physical body makes whatever my thoughts are physical also. So now the proton and neutron would be physical, meaning a proton neutron interacting with an electron becoming an atom, which is physical, would lead you to understand that the proton and the electron had to be physical also, just smaller than the atom, and this is why it is perceived to be invisible. But only physical things can make physical things. See, thoughts don't make things. What the physical thing that the thoughts are controlling is what creates the thing. So you have to grasp how deep that is. My thoughts have not created anything or made anything physically. My physical body did that. So you have to grasp the proton neutrons, even though they are energy and electrical charges, they are physical bodies also. And this is how when they stack on top of each other, they become more physical where you can see them. And this is why a bunch of atoms stacked on top of each other are called cells, because now you can see that better. So the more micro things come together, the clearer the perception of it is. So we have to grasp. The thought is way before protons. The thought is before quarks. An up and down quark makes protons. Up and down quarks are physical, because only the physical can make the physical. So the true question is, what is the thought that is making everything physical? And what is the thought in? Because you need something physical to make something physical. So what is this great thought? What is it in that is able to make the physical? And how big is this thought truly? And this is my point. The mighty all is so minute because it made the smallest pieces of the life to become the great. So you have to grasp, the mustard seed is the smallest seed, but it grows into a gigantic tree. The mustard seed is the thought. It is the conscious, it is the all. It is what the tree is, even though the tree is bigger. So when you think of God in the Most High, you better think of the most minute thing. So deep. It's your main man Silas, the smartest motherfucker on the planet. Excuse my language.